for that. Just in case something like that was going to happen. I'm not stable. Hang on.
You're not stable.
Don't. Hey,
I'm not going to play that.
Use that out of context.
No, I wouldn't. No, I'm not stable. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I will. Crazy Dave back with us again. Dave, the real story. Tell me.
The real story.
So you grew up in Hot Springs area, so you're a local boy, right?
I lived out just outside of Garland County in Hot Spring County.
Right in Malvern area?
No, man.
You were
Amity Road, off of Amity Road, down Point Cedar Road, the county line, and then Bismarck School District right on the other side of the county line. So I had to go over a mountain to school every day. Uphill both ways,
A beautiful mountain school, you'll have to admit.
Bismarck, yeah. I mean, it was Bismarck was an experience from where I came from.
I bet.
Came from Lakeside.
And if you haven't been to Bismarck before, I encourage it. It really is. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, especially with Lake DeGray right there, taking up pretty much all of Bismarck. Yeah. But I moved there in 5th grade, but still basically in Hot Springs. Mm-hmm. That's where I grew up. That's where we came to town. Everything Hot Springs.
That was the city.
That was our city, and I was born in Hot Springs. So, you want the Crazy Dave story. I went to Henderson State University and started in radio at KSWH, the campus radio station.
Okay, let's back up just a second. You have a whopping 10 watts on the radio.
10 watts is what this station put out. What do you do with all that
power? It goes to your head, doesn't it?
Exactly, man. I thought I was 18 years old and I was a radio star on a 10-watt station. And by radio star,
Crazy
if
Dave.
you drove any direction, 6 blocks, the radio station was gone.
But inside that 6 blocks, you were hot stuff.
I was the man. We had the most listened to show, me and my partner, Ice-T, on Wednesday nights at, I think it was 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And the reason we knew this is because we got the most phone calls in during that shift, which I say that it was 8, was the record. 8 phone calls on one show.
So let's back up here for that. So you're at Henderson, across the street. Now Diane went to Henderson. We need to compare her notes here in a minute. She actually grew up in Donaldson.
Okay.
She's 4 years younger.
Went to Washita High School.
She told me one time. I said, "Where'd you go to school?" She said, "Washita." I said, "I thought you said you went to Henderson." She said, "Washita High School."
High school.
There's a Washita High. Washita. Yeah.
And there still is. It's about that big, but it's still there.
A lot of people, believe it or not, people move out of Arkadelphia so they can go to the
Washita High School. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. But if you're there at Henderson, right across the street, across the gorge, is OBU. So you obviously covered the great.
My partner on my show was from OBU. They didn't have a radio program, and
so he had to come over.
They came over for the people who wanted to major in radio at OBU. Came to Henderson for all their classes.
So the bottom line is that you were Crazy Dave.
Crazy Dave on the radio because we were required to come up with a radio name. We were not supposed to use our real names on the radio.
Right.
So he came up with Ice-T. And I came up with Crazy Dave. I totally ripped it off of Craig O'Neill.
Sorry, Craig.
Totally ripped him off. I don't know if he knows that.
He's retired now. I tell you what. I know that Craig. I do know Craig O'Neill. But
I know him real well. He was in one of my movies.
So that's right. So I'm sure he wakes up in the morning and goes, "Man, I wish Crazy Dave had ripped off my name.
Dave,
he stole my name, that son of a gun."
He's not.
I don't think he's losing sleep over it.
No, he's not. So I ripped him off and made the name Crazy Dave. And I had that name for 2 years while I was at KSWH.
Yeah.
And then left Henderson and left that name and didn't use it again.
Really?
For decades.
Wow.
I went from that to using Dave Ellis on stage to sing.
Yeah.
And everybody, started to know who Dave Ellis was. And then I decided to run for office in Garland County. Ran for Justice of the Peace.
Vote for Crazy Dave Ellis.
No, none of that. No. They knew who Dave Ellis was, but you can't use a fake name on a ballot.
What?
So I had to put my real name on there. So
Trump is his real name?
I think so. So I put my last name back on, but I kept Dave Ellis. So now it's Dave Ellis Grimm.
He's doing a John Cougar Mellencamp here, people. He's John Cougar Mellencamp. Okay, go ahead. And then
it's an evolution, man. So for years now, doing all the stuff I did in those decades, the sports writing and the movies and radio, everything I did was Dave Ellis Grimm. And then I came back home 6 years ago to Hot Springs, and nobody knew who I was. They forgot me. I was gone for 17 years. Nobody knew who Dave Ellis was or Dave Grimm was or any of it. So
But now your dad owns a restaurant here.
My dad owns 2 restaurants in Hot Springs.
Really?
They know him. They didn't know me. They didn't remember me. So
you look different 20 years ago.
And I started building it back. I looked a lot different back then. I started building back up again, doing different shows. Dave Ellis Grimm's playing here. Dave Ellis Grimm's doing this over here. And my best friend now, he wasn't at the time, but he's my best friend now, Jeff Goins, was doing karaoke at Fat Jack's. And he wanted help. It was getting to where he needed, just, by himself, he was having a hard time. And so he wanted me to come in and do the show as a tandem with him. Yeah. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. So they put it on the sign. His name was DJ J-Rock. He had this really cool name, DJ J-Rock, up on the sign. So up on the sign they put DJ J-Rock and Dave.
But see, that could have been. It could have been Salmon Dave. It could have been. You could have been Dave.
Just some dude named Dave.
But Crazy Dave.
That's where Crazy Dave had to come back.
That worked.
That's why I brought it back, because it didn't look. I had to have something cool up there with DJ J-Rock. And so Crazy Dave was back after 30 some odd years.
How incredible!
And now Crazy Dave. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned some of the other jobs you had. Phone books.
Yeah. No, man, it was fun. 3 years, I stopped doing everything.
Y'all remember phone books? You remember those things?
I stopped doing movies because it wasn't doing any good for me.
Yeah.
I was only getting extra work in the movies I was trying to get.
Enough to keep you alive, but not.
Wasn't even that. So quit on that.
Yeah.
Stopped doing karaoke shows. Stopped doing anything with a microphone, and took a job as district. Actually started just delivering, but they promoted me pretty quick to district manager of a phone book distribution company.
Let me get this straight. They moved you up the scale because there wasn't that many phone books to distribute, or nobody wanted to do it?
Nobody wanted to do it. Yeah. I was,
It was a traveling job, right?
Yeah. So I started out doing it in towns in Arkansas, and they said, okay, we're moving out west, and we're going to do Kansas, and we're going to do North Texas, and so I did some jobs out there, and then they made me a district manager.
So what phone book?
I can't even remember.
Allied?
No, it was Names and Numbers. Names and Numbers. You remember a phone book called Names and Numbers?
I do, but I remember that. For those of you that don't know, we would always say the yellow pages. There were competing yellow pages.
There was 3 or 4 different ones.
Yeah. You could get the AT&T yellow pages, the Southwestern Bell yellow pages, the Century.
In ancient times, back in ancient times.
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Exactly. So I was doing Names and Numbers, and this company had to contract with Names and Numbers to go into the towns and hire a bunch of local people and send them out with the phone books to put them on everybody's porch and at their door and everything. And so
the number of dogs and cats and
that ain't nothing. We did most of our years, 3 years, in Colorado, in the western half of Colorado, where it's all the mountains.
Yeah,
you're driving up these switchbacks, man, and in their driveways are switchbacks, and you got to get it to the door
to put one phone book.
That's right.
Or 2, maybe.
That's right, and it was a pretty good living for 3 years.
You said you saw a lot of the country.
I saw 17. No, 13 different states I worked in during that 3 years, counting Arkansas.
And they paid you.
And I was getting paid, and they was paying for the gas, and they was paying for the food. I was getting, the per diem. It was a great job.
So let me get this straight. Well, for a single guy who could move around and whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So let me get this straight. But you had, now I see the twisty turvies at the end of a Colorado backwoods hill or whatever. But you had to run them out to the end of Stuttgart on the end of a big flat plain by the rice paddy too, right?
Yeah, it didn't matter what state it was.
Everybody got
their phone book at their door. There was sometimes they would let us put them in, like, when they had the newspaper box
you put
out there,
a bundle of 50 or whatever. Yeah,
they wouldn't really be mad at us.
I know. I got to be nosy just for a second. Pardon me, audience, just for a second. What kind of car or truck or what?
Oh man,
because it had to be heavy as well.
I started out with a 2002 Trailblazer, and it could fit a lot of phone books.
I bet you could.
Gas mileage was eating me up a little bit. So I switched to a Kia. Man, I can't remember what kind of Kia it was.
Like an SUV?
Yeah, it was a Kia SUV, a mid-size Kia SUV. Yeah. It got a lot better gas mileage and almost the same amount of space in the Kia as it was in that Trailblazer, and did a lot better on gas.
So how do you get from moving phone books back to Hot Springs?
Okay, so the phone book company that I was working for, the distribution company, stopped because
do your
2018, December of 2018 was the last phone book job I had. They said, we're getting out of this because phone books ain't a thing anymore.
You think? You couldn't put all the mobile numbers in there anymore.
No, they got out while the getting was good, and the people.
2018.
You know what they went into?
Oh.
Marijuana farming. Oklahoma,
growth industry.
medical marijuana. It's the growth industry. Exactly. And as far as I know, they're still doing that to this day.
Really?
That's right. They got.
So they went from phone books to weed.
Exactly right.
Those are industrious people. So you got back here.
I came back here. I was like, what am I going to do now? It was 3 years of whole lot of fun.
Whoa. But when you got back here, you weren't crazy.
No.
So you just got crazy when you came back to Hot Springs.
That's right.
And when you were at Fat Jack's and you didn't want to be just Dave.
That's right. Just Dave up on the thing, man. It was crazy. It was like that for like 2 weeks, man.
Dave.
I said, no, man. We got to move. We got to change that.
No, Dave.
Just Dave. Nobody.
Well,
Dave's not here, man.
We covered
Dave's
what?
Yeah, exactly.
No, he's not here, man. He's not here.
He's not here.
Okay. Now we plugged it in your other show, but I want to come back to that real quick. You do trivia on where can we find you, Crazy Dave?
All right. So Tuesday, Monday's my only day off. Tuesday, DeSoto Club trivia, 6 p.m.
Gotcha. 6.
All the trivia shows are 2 hours long.
Whoa. And if you haven't, let's preface this just for a little. The DeSoto Club was rebuilt 9 years ago. We had a big pipes burst and it had a big frost.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. It was a $1 million remodel. So that's why it's in really good shape. It's pretty nice now. But the DeSoto Club it's nestled inside the DeSoto Golf Course. The clubhouse is back behind there. But it's a really nice little restaurant, great view overlooking, and great food. And Logan's doing that, right?
Yeah, Logan, and not only that, but he's got the Balboa Club.
Which is where you are, what night?
I'm there on Wednesdays, the following night.
So Tuesdays at DeSoto at 6.
That's right.
And then Wednesdays at Balboa at 7.
Right.
And then Thursdays you stagger into the Beehive?
The Beehive. Stagger in. No, I'm okay still by then. It's Saturday night where I'm starting.
I thought Monday was when you had.
Yeah. So Thursdays the Beehive show, which is the longest running trivia show ever.
Yeah, because he said he had worked with 4 different owners.
In Hot Springs Village.
You go through owners like.
They keep coming and going. I'm still right there.
This one's low mileage. He's a good guy.
I like this guy, Alonzo.
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
Cool.
That's Thursdays.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday at Fat Jack's, the karaoke show.
How many people there and how good a show is it? And I don't mean that wrong. I'm just straight up.
So Friday nights, we don't have usually as many people as we have on a Saturday night. And the reason for that is the majority of our crowd at Fat Jack's is tourists coming into Hot Springs for the weekend.
Oh, really?
And most of them don't get here till Saturday. So they're not here on Friday night. So we got more local people in there on Friday night.
So when does it wind up on Saturday? What time?
2 o'clock in the morning, both nights.
Really?
Yeah, 1:45-ish, somewhere in there.
So here's the deal, and I think this is a generational thing, and I want your input on this. Diane and I, when we were young and growing up, our parents would wake us up at 5:45. We got to get to. I don't think that's our thing these days.
No.
I think we were in Spain and we would go to a restaurant or whatever at 7 or 8, and they were like, we're just opening up now.
Right.
We're just really. When does karaoke really get rolling?
Okay, so we start the karaoke at 8:30 at night.
Oh, really?
But it's just a thin crowd at 8:30. We're just doing with what we got
At a bar on a Saturday night?
No, because we go so late, they wait to come in later, or they'll go somewhere else and then come there later.
Oh, really?
So our prime time crowd of the most people and the best singers and all that happens between 10:30 and midnight. That is the prime time.
So let me give you an example. And people, I'm just giving you a hint. Fat Jack's has good food, no question.
Yeah, yeah.
But a block down the street at Rolando's, they have some of the best.
I love me some Rolando's, man.
Holy cow.
And a good friend of mine is the GM of that place,
Really?
Kelly Palmer. She is a sweetheart, and she is
I've met her.
running that place like a well-oiled machine.
It is like a watch. She really.
Shout out to Kelly Palmer.
Shout out to
Love
Kelly
you, girl.
Palmer. And listen, the reason I know and that we talked about this, Diane and I will walk in with these restaurant.com's coupons, and you can buy a little coupon for $10, and it's worth $30 there. And they're
so good.
And she always processes that for us. But the Paisis de Macias, the fish of the gods, the Popeyes burrito.
I like their black beans, man. Their black
delicious.
beans are
And
I love
anyway, needless to say, we digress.
We're getting way off on the.
but wait here, I'll come back to that. The talent on the back deck is always real good too.
Yeah, and plus she, I think, has some karaoke over there.
They
too.
do, well, occasionally.
A couple of buddies of mine who are regulars at my show
really
have started venturing out and doing some karaoke shows, and that's one of them.
Really?
Robert and Debbie.
Oh.
If you get a chance to go see a Robert, if you're in Hot Springs, not Hot Springs Village, I want y'all to come to my trivia. But if it's in Hot Springs and you want karaoke on a night that I'm not doing it, look and see where Robert and Debbie are.
Robert and Debbie.
Curveball is one of the places they do.
Yeah.
Rolando's is one of the places they do. Yeah, look them up. Robert and Debbie karaoke.
So we've had over 2,500 five-star reviews with our rentals. Okay, 2,500 five-star reviews. We have never, and we refer people to Rolando's all the time. Yeah. We have never had anybody come back from Rolando's that didn't say that was one of the best meals they ever had in their life.
It's so good.
And you know, in our area, we're kind of quasi Tex-Mex and whatever. It's not Tex-Mex. It's Central American. It's Guatemalan and all kinds.
I thought it was Ecuadorian.
Yeah. No,
or Honduran.
Yeah.
Central American food.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. All that to say, visit there. I imagine some people are going to Rolando's for dinner, places like that.
A lot of people don't, maybe the Fat Jack's menu isn't their thing, but they want to come and get some of that karaoke, so they'll eat somewhere else and then come. I think that has to do with the time frames that we get real busy.
So from 10 to midnight, right in there, huh?
Yes, exactly. That's prime time.
I was at, I don't know if Roger Scott doesn't do the karaoke.
I love me some Roger Scott.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He does the trivia down at Oakland, too.
Yeah, I was just there the other night because Beehive had to
close up. Yeah.
And they had to close, and I didn't have a show. I went and played Roger's trivia. I love Roger.
On Wednesday night, he does on every other Wednesday down at Oakland, he does a comedy
thing. I wish I could go.
I went and shot the comedy show. They're great guys. They're headliners from the Looney Bin in town.
How late does that go?
It starts at 8 and it goes to 10 or so. It's just a couple hours.
I could get in there a little bit and catch like the last half hour after
it's really good. It's like a $5 cover, but it's $5 cover, but it's not bad.
I would like to go to that.
Yeah, and by the way, we're running out of time. I see our timer running down.
Darn.
But no. That said, but so that's when the real crowd comes in. And what I was saying is they had karaoke at Oakland at the main line.
Yeah, my buddy Chucky D used to do that show.
Yeah, they had a lady that came in that was absolutely horrible, and she loved singing a lot. So everybody was like, oh, here comes Susie, bless her heart, right?
Well, if Susie came to Fat Jack's, it wouldn't matter how bad she was. She'd be a superstar. That stage is magical, man.
Really?
It can make the worst singer a superstar.
So it's the environment.
I'm telling you, exactly. It's a magic stage, man.
Really?
I'm serious. It's got powers.
So you need to come see Crazy Jack.
Don't forget Sundays at Sunset Grill Trivia, 6 o'clock.
Just starting.
It just started recently.
We run through it one more time. Tuesday at
Tuesday DeSoto. Wednesday Balboa. Thursday Beehive. Friday, Saturday Fat Jack's. Sunday Sunset Grill.
Monday is the day of rest.
That's right. I gotta have one, man. I can't do 7 shows.
I got it.
Somebody wanted me to. I said, no, man, I'm sorry. I can't.
You don't need that much money either. That's too much money.
That's too much. No, there's no such thing as too much money. For the record, if I could do it during the daytime, I'll come do it.
Dennis Simpson, Crazy.
Thanks, man.
Dave, good seeing you. We will see you next time.
Thank y'all.
Hot Springs Village Venues is brought to you by KVRE at 92.9 and streaming worldwide on iHeartRadio. KVRE is your family-owned local hometown radio station, so be sure and tune in for live local programming, news, sports, and information every day at 92.9. Beehive Hangout. Hot Springs Village Beehive Hangout has been an institution since the day it opened, serving great fresh food, wonderful music, games, trivia, and a cold glass of something to drink anytime. Come by and experience the relaxed atmosphere and great food at the Beehive Hangout today at 220 Minorca in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, or call 501-777-8176. You can also set up reservations at beehivehsv.com to reserve your table. HSV Radio. HSV Radio is heard every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. or streaming on any of the major platforms. Hot Springs Village Radio is an eclectic mix of music, motivation, great music history, and Saturday morning fun. Join us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. 92.9. And brought to you by the Hot Springs Village Voice, Hot Springs Village only newspaper, also serving all of Saline and Garland County. Your local newspaper for local events. No one else has more local news than the Hot Springs Village Voice about the Hot Springs Village area. Sign up today at hsvvoice.com or call 501-623-6397. Again, that's 501-623-6397. Located at 3576 North Highway 7 in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, just in front of Walmart. Brought to you by Gotta Go Vacations. www.gottagovacations.com. Troy Woods and Patrick Cunningham at 501-204-4805 can help you with any of your travel needs. Patrick and Troy have been airline stewards for decades, and their experience and their travel can serve you well. GottaGoVacations.com, again, that's GottaGoVacations.com, can help you book the perfect tour for you, whether it's a riverboat cruise up the Mississippi or the Rhine. These guys are who you need to call. 501-204-4805. Troy or Patrick, 501-204-4805. GottaGoVacations.com. D&D Village Properties. Hot Springs Village only short-term rental with over 2,100 five-star reviews. All properties are lakefront. They include complimentary kayaks, hot tub, pet-friendly, and a stunning view of the lake. Visit DD Village Prop today for your vacation getaway.